this though. If the hit is unsuccessful, did he get hit now? Because that's fucked up.
Hey, yo.
They ain't had to get my boy Tory like that, man. They could just let him come out, write a book, a tell-all book, and then that's it. But y'all want to bury this man. Why? Is it that serious what he do? What's poppin', gang? We here back with another video. Hey man, listen, y'all seen the thumbnail, y'all seen the title. So this is the truth is they put in a little bit more perspective of what's going on between the Tory, Megan Thee Stallion. Recently Tory was stabbed in jail, and he's going to talk about it a little bit more, and we're going to review it, of course. But I hope Tory gets out on this, man. How they gonna set my boy up and then give him the okie doke with the stabby stab, the pokey poke? Is that because they knew that he was telling the truth and they just want to get him up out of there? But God is good, man, because he's still living. Getting stabbed that many times, back of the head, torso, you back, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot. Side of the face, that's a lot. So we're actually going to get to the bottom of it and see if we can understand if he's going to be free or this is just going to blow over. He's going to go back to jail and things like that. Like I said, he dives a little bit deeper. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Without further ado, let me stop talking and make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get to the video.
A few days back, I covered the breaking news that Tory was brutally attacked in prison. Tory seemed to barely survive the attack, but thankfully, he was able to pull through and is making a full recovery. Now he's back in the headlines once again. This time, it's being reported that there's new evidence in the Meg vs. Tory case that has been discovered, with it now being reported that Kelsey's own bodyguard is confirming that Tory wasn't who shot Meg Thee Stallion. Now this changes everything, and if this evidence can be verified, it could help free Tory Lanez. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop...
My thing is though, I'm gonna skip this though. But my thing is this though, right? Why does it take this long for the buddy to come out and say that Kelsey was the one shooting the gun, Tory smacked the gun down and it shot 2 more times? Why nobody said that when the time came up? They was scraping and screaming for shit. They was over here looking like, he did it. Blame it on the black guy. And you gonna blame it on the lit black guy. See, it's always the lit black guy that y'all blame it on. And everybody was riding with Megan, which I understand, if she really was shot by Tory, then that would have been an unfortunate thing. And, I don't want to, praise physical violence or domestic violence or anything like that. But I do want to say that was some bullshit, man. Y'all could have heard the story. Everything did not match up at that time. Man, I wish I was posting videos and streaming and things like that around that time. But I would have let y'all know. But I don't know anymore. The world is fucked. The world is fucked, okay? It's fucked. Get back to it.
We are all watching Tory Lanez fight not only for his freedom, but for his life in real time. While he was found guilty a few years back, today the world is being forced to revisit that judgment, re-examine the evidence that led to the decision to throw Tory in prison. While Tory definitely isn't a perfect man like most of us, he has his flaws. What it does seem is that he is an innocent man who is most likely paying for a crime he didn't commit. This new evidence that was just presented by Tory's team could prove that to be true. But before we talk about that new evidence, I wanted to update you guys on the stabbing situation that Tory is currently recovering from. I managed to find a bit more information on what happened that day. I have been further looking into it, and what I found further confirms what I said in my last video. First, It was reported that Tory Lanez was stabbed early in the morning and it wasn't in the yard. I had reported that the incident happened in the yard as that's what the media initially reported, but it turns out he was just coming out of his cell when the attack happened. Like I said in my previous video, he was hit 14 times and was left with various wounds all over his body. Now,
14 times? Ooh, you could, boy, I know that hurt. Every shank pull, man, that hurt. They try to take that man out, and sometimes you don't live through that. So, man, that's crazy.
The media has released the name of the suspect who was accused of stabbing Tory Lanez, and his name is Santiago Casio, a 41-year-old man who is serving life in prison for the murder of his underage girlfriend. This man was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for second-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder, and personal use of a dangerous or deadly weapon to inflict great bodily injury. This man has also gotten himself repeatedly in trouble in prison. In January 2008, he was sentenced to 6 years for assaulting a fellow prisoner with a deadly weapon. In 2018, he was sentenced to another 2 years for possessing a deadly weapon. If any of you watching this video today watched the last video I did on Tory, you would remember that in the first video, I predicted this could have been a hit carried out by someone facing life. This man was in prison facing life and was already known for attacking others. Obviously, this man had no issues taking money for a hit. All they have to do is hit up someone connected to the guy on the outside who collects the payment.
So let me ask you this though. If the hit is unsuccessful, did he get hit now? Because that's fucked up.
Hey, yo.
They ain't had to get my boy Tory like that, man. They could just let him come out, write a book, a tell-all book, and then that's it. But y'all want to bury this man. Why? Is it that serious? What he do? What did he do? They have to come out with new evidence saying this about the shooting. They should have said that years ago. They had people in an uproar, families breaking up because they saying, "Oh, Tory is guilty." Man, it's always the black man. If it was somebody else, they would have been like, give him a chance.
On behalf of the guy in the inside. Then the job gets done. There have been rumors that all of this happened to Tory because he's paying off gangs in prison, claiming he didn't pay off this gang and that's why they attacked him. Some other claims are that he was behind on gambling debt or that he started a gang war with the Mexican gangs in prison. Now, the man who attacked Tory was a Latino from what it seems from looking at his mugshot. However, there isn't any confirmation or evidence to prove this was because of a gang war or because of any kind of debt. In fact, I strongly believe this attack on Tory was under orders from someone from the outside, someone who doesn't want to see Tory Lanez get out of prison. And this was basically just confirmed by Tory Lanez's team just yesterday in a press conference. Just yesterday, some representatives of the organization called Unite the People did a press conference where attorney Walter Roberts made the bold claim that Tory is innocent, claiming that they have new evidence to suggest it. They're claiming that Kelsey's bodyguard recently came forward and confessed that Kelsey had admitted to being the one who shot Megan, also admitting that Tory ran up on Megan and Kelsey to stop the shooting, knocking the weapon out of her hand, where it went off 2 more times.
We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gascon, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out. But given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times.
Hey, I'm not ignoring y'all, man. I was just signing the petition they got for my boy. As y'all see, hold on, let me see if I can. See, I got a petition, you know, because they put up a petition. Y'all see my green screen in the back, don't worry about that. But y'all see my petition, and basically, y'all be ready for it, all right? Y'all be ready. Not too many people signed it yet, but it's coming around. Shoot, we just gonna go from there. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna sign it. So we gonna go ahead and stamp it. You know, try to get him pardoned and get my boy free, man. He don't deserve to be in there, especially getting stabbed by Mexicans when he didn't want to pay off the gang. Man, get out of here. I believe that it was some deep, dark rooted things going on in this world. And I ain't gonna talk too bad about Rock Nation or Megan Thee Stallion or anything like that. But I will say that that free my boy Tory, man. Y'all put him under there because y'all wanted to protect a friend and, you know, protect black women. But at the same time, y'all gotta also protect the black man, because look at him now. And then there's new evidence that came out that the bodyguard stayed in, because the reason why is because eating him alive of the lie that y'all had to tell and publicly shame somebody and humiliate somebody to put them in jail, and you giving the aha pill. Aha, it's your fault. But was it really his fault? He was just protecting y'all. But were y'all protecting him?
In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson.
Why is that? Just because he got money? He black, he bossed up? Or is because there was a major setup that was going to happen and they just needed everything to work in their favor, which it did, essentially. But was that the right thing to do?
Even though unknown DNA was found on the gun, why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that, anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Ms. Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate? highly irregular situation. Normally, we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process...
Why does it have to come out now, though? Like, is it because that's what he wanted, or is it because he got stabbed and now y'all really putting an eye on it? Because y'all need to put an eye on it. That's why people are wrongly jailed now, because y'all just let it just fly by the seam of your pants, and it's the court of public opinion now. Some bullshit.
Process play out. It is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do.
This new evidence could confirm that Tory Lanez is 100% innocent. If this could be verified, this could get Tory out of jail, something that is extremely important right now as Tory is in serious danger. Don't you think it's odd that after Tory made this tape from prison exposing Jay-Z and Roc Nation, this all happens to him? After months in prison with no incidents, all of a sudden he's attacked, just days after his team discovers this new information proving he was innocent. Now, if you saw my last video, you would have seen me completely break down the other evidence that seems to prove Tory was set up, especially the connection between Tory's former lawyer Sean Hawley and Roc Nation. If you haven't seen that video, go watch that after this one, as if you're not already convinced Tory was set up, that video will prove it. It's clear that this attack was sent from the outside, as they were trying to silence Tory, as they knew this info was coming out soon. Now, like I've reported in my previous video, I have heard this story before, that Kelsey was the one who allegedly shot Megan. I honestly felt like this was what could have happened since day one, as it made more sense to me than Tory shooting Meg. To me, it's more believable that Kelsey got jealous of Meg when she found out she was hooking up with him behind her back. That day in the car, she found out what Meg was doing, so they started to fight, and Kelsey, possibly mad at her best friend who is rich and famous and could have had just about anyone she wanted, went after her boyfriend, so she tried to take her out. Tory jumped in the...
See, that whole triangle love affair, it could happen. But the thing is, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I would never jumped in. I will be on the side watching them fight. Like,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Hey, beat her up, because now I'm in a pickle. I'm in a befuddle now, because you decided that you wanted to pull out a gun and shoot because she was whooping your ass. Now I'm in jail getting stabbed up and going to the hospital, air flown to the hospital because of your ass. And yeah, I know you're trying to be nice to her and protect them and things like that, but fuck them women, man. Man, when you get out, man, fuck them women. Cause they not conducive to your health, to your success. Man, you a black man, independent, doing your thing. You don't need to be worried about these women. You need to just be focused on your grind. Cause you make great music. Your last tape, great tape. So it's more so to say, and not even just the tape, the music that you put out every week, people was not that consistent. So, man, leave these women alone, man. They just succubus trying to ruin your life. And see, here they go right here. Prime example trying to ruin your life. I'm glad you found new evidence. So we'll see what happens.
Incident just to stop it, and this is when things got worse. This was pretty much even backed up by one of the witnesses who ended up changing their testimony after meeting with the prosecution. This explains why Kelsey wanted immunity for snitching on Tory. Many people point to the recording of Tory apologizing to Kelsey the day after everything went down as proof Tory was guilty. People say that because Tory said sorry, he admitted to doing the crime. The thing is, this sorry could have been for anything that have happened that day. He could have said sorry for something he said during the argument, or for cheating on Kelsey with Meg. There could have been many reasons for this apology, but it makes no sense to assume he would be dumb enough to snitch on himself the day after it happened. In my opinion, Tory didn't do this. In fact, Megan wasn't even pinning it on Tory at first. I believe, and this is just my opinion, that Roc Nation instructed them to go after Tory, as Tory had allegedly turned down a deal with them and also spoke out about signing to record deals. I believe Roc Nation or others saw this incident as the perfect opportunity.
They say, you think you hot shit? You think you getting too big? You can get too big for your britches. You think you all that? Chain shining. You starting all this this Instagram popping. What was that shit called he made? It was I mean, no, he did Shot O'Clock, and then he did the Instagram. It was the famous Instagram thing he was doing where everybody was hopping on his Instagram and he was just going crazy. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Instagram Tory. Instagram parties. What was it called? Let's see if we can find it real quick. What was it called? Okay. Okay, they talking about him dissing him. Okay, whatever. Quarantine radio. So he had quarantine radio and he was really doing his thing, you know what I'm saying? He had a quarantine radio and he had the whole world in a frenzy on Instagram. And then this pretty much messed up everything. Messed up his chicken bag and everything. Shout out to Steph Code. Messed up the whole bag for this man, the loot. He was getting all the loot, and then they took the loot like they was Biggie Smalls. Give me the loot, give me the loot. I'm a bad man. These bad women, because they took your money and now you sitting in jail. You still probably making some money, but you're not making enough as when you were out. Come on, fellas. If you want to learn anything from this, get yourself together, build your money up, and don't let these women control and dictate your life, because they can be able to change the whole dynamic of what you did, and they can just point the finger, you. And people like, yes, he did it. But even if the evidence come out that he didn't do it, they still say he did it. People are fucking stupid. Not everybody, but people are fucking stupid.
To bring Tory down. Again, in my opinion, it could be possible that any one of these labels, including Roc Nation, could have made this all happen. Now we're getting information that Kelsey's very own bodyguard overheard her confessing to doing the crime. This could be the evidence that should change everything. And I say should because we know how corrupt the system is. That's exactly how Tory got in there to begin with. Corruption. In another part of the conference, a woman a part of the Unite the People team came out and basically confirmed what I said in my last video.
Itself. That's why I'm speaking out today for Daystar Peterson, better known to the world as Tory Lanez. This isn't about fame. It isn't about celebrity. It's about fairness. Tory Lanez doesn't want special treatment. He's demanding equal treatment. And if we Americans still believe in a system where guilty must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, then we must admit this case raises serious concerns. Because the truth is, Tory Lanez is serving a 10-year sentence for a crime that evidence, which laid out here today, overwhelmingly suggests he did not commit. Let's go back to the night in question, just like Gianna was just talking about in the attorneys. As the attorneys laid out here today, the prosecution failed to produce a single shred of forensic evidence tying Tory to the actual gun. His fingerprints weren't on it. His DNA was later found to be 100% nearly excluded from the gun, as shown in the worksheet that was provided to the defense late on the eve of the actual trial.
That was true. That was true. And they still was like, lock his black ass up. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care if he had really no residue on the gun. We're going to throw that out. It's non-conclusive anyway. We don't worry about that. What do people say? Guilty? Okay, take his ass to jail. Take his ass to jail now. Because we don't care.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
We don't care. But y'all should care. But the justice system corrupts. They can do it on their end. They can do whatever they want. But then when you start to do whatever you want, you start to level up, you start to live the life that you want, Sometimes they want to shut you down. Damn. When I get my bearings and I get my stride, you always want to shut me down.
After making a request for that very document. After trial, looking at this evidence, there is a 0.01% chance Tory's DNA was on the firearm. That's a difficult statistic to equate with the story as told by the prosecution, which may be why this was not present in trial. In fact, there were 3 people that night at the scene who tested positive for gunshot residues. One of those was Kelsey Harris, as Gianno mentioned, the assistant to Megan Pete. According to multiple sworn testaments that you've heard today, including one from the bodyguard and driver with Harris on the 2 days of the trial, Harris admitted to firing the weapon during an emotional outburst. Tory intervened to de-escalate, not to harm. It is important to note, the police did not fingerprint anyone else who had gunshot residue on them that night, only Tory. Why?
Why? Why did they do that? That is strange. They fingerprinted only one person out of everybody in the car. They was like, we gonna fingerprint you. You the one with the money and the resources. And we may get some money off the back end from you. You don't want to sign to us? Fuck you. You know what? Bury him under the jail. That's what they try to do, sending a hit. They try to bury him under the jail. And the Mexican homies, they probably gonna be like, man, hey, we caught up. We try to catch a hit. We try to catch a hat, as the young folks call it. But is it worth catching a hat? Because now everything is exposed. Y'all blew the top wide open with this one. Now look at you. Broke, busted, and disgusted. And if he get out, you know his music is gonna be top tier. He's gonna hit the charts. And he's already hit the charts now. It's just that when he gets out, you won't be able to stop him. Y'all gonna try to, which y'all doing now, but you're not gonna be able to stop Tory, man. He's the only person that can do what he can do. He can make music, he can sing, he can rap, he can do reggaeton, he can do Espanol music, Spanish music. I mean, what he can't do? He probably can do some Africano, some African music. What he can't do? And y'all want to hate on that because he's multi-talented, and most of your artists in Rock Nation, which I don't know who signed to Rock Nation, they not. I mean, some are, which I only know one, which is Megan, and she's nice. I like Megan, but I don't like what she did to Tory. So I don't like it one bit.
Even more troubling, the investigation itself was a disaster. Bullet fragments disappeared, the gun's serial number was sealed, a move that blocked the defense from investigating ownership. Police failed to follow standard procedures. Why? Didn't mark shell casings on the road, and didn't test others involved that night with DNA. This wasn't justice. It was a rush to judgment. Worse still, the prosecution knew the case was thin. So what did they do? They tacked on gun enhancements, just like they spoke about. Let's be blunt. This prosecution had everything to do with headlines and very little to do with truth. It was about symbolism, not substance.
Symbolism? What they talk about? What they talk about with symbolism? I don't know what's going on anymore. It's like,
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Symbolism? That might be something that we need to investigate a little bit further. Because where is their symbolism? What's going on? What they trying to portray? Because after that, Megan Thee Stallion came out with some crazy ass videos, music videos. So I don't know. Everything is really turning around full circle. And we about to find out in the next couple days, few weeks, how's Tory gonna be doing with this situation going on, because right now everybody's fucked in this situation. And Kelsey got immunity, so I think she's good, sadly.
And that should concern
Send them both
every
to
single
jail.
one of you here today and in this country. Because when the facts take a back seat to identity, when due process is sacrificed for public spectacle, we all lose. Timing of these events raised disturbing questions to me, and I think they all should to you as well. After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Megan Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed.
As you can see, everyone can tell exactly what this is. Tory was being targeted because his team got the evidence they needed to get him out. Those who put him in there know that if this blows up in their face, it's going to be bad, so they try to make Tory disappear. One thing that I found very powerful about this conference was Tory's father. He spent this time giving the credit to Jesus for Tory's recovery, saying prayers and thanking God for saving his son.
The reason why he bears the name Daystar is because I was scheduled to speak in a conference in Washington, D.C. back in the early 2000s. I was up praying before that conference that I was supposed to speak at that evening. As I paced back and forth in my hotel suite praying, I began to quote the scripture from 2 Peter chapter 1, and it states, "For you will do well to take heed as unto a light shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the day star arises in your heart." I didn't know whether it was a boy or girl in my late wife's womb, but I heard the Holy Spirit said to me, that is the name of your child. That's why he bears that name today.
And that's why they try to stab my man's 14 times and he still lives. You look at y'all. Y'all was over there. As soon as he said he's still alive, they said, you said what? Can you send somebody else on there and finish the job? Okay, I'm shaking in my boots now. You know what? I'm gonna flee the country. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna flee the country because y'all out here in the sun giving more evidence, and we don't need extra evidence. We got all the evidence we need. He's guilty. Why you got to keep going over and over again? That's what they saying. But it's like, what are you saying? I knew it was bullshit from the first time I seen it. And I'm no lawyer, but I'm looking at the case like these things are not adding up. I should have been in a jury trial. I would have been holding him up forever. Hey, he innocent. They should have called me. Shoot, I would have went to Cali. What are you talking about? That would have been a good vacation.
And so I'm going to pray a very short prayer before I get started here today. And I'm going to pray that in the spirit of when Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, stood before Pontius Pilate. Pontius said, "Why do you not speak? Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you or to let you go free?" It was only one of the times that Jesus ever spoke. He said, "You would not have power over me unless God Almighty gave it to you today. And I have come to bear witness of the truth." Upon which Pontius Pilate replied, "What is truth?" That question was never answered in Pilate's judgment hall. But I answer it for you today because Jesus Christ himself told us what the truth was. Truth is not a philosophy. It's not an ideology. It's not a doctrine. And it certainly is not a religion. Truth is a person. His name is Jesus Christ, who said, "I am the way, the truth that leads you to life." Father, upon the basis of your word today that this nation was founded upon, I ask that every ear that needs to be opened, including the ear of the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, I'm even asking today that in the midst of Mr. Trump's busy schedule as president of the United States, that this would come into his hearing. And so, Father, I ask you today, by your Spirit, because you're the only reason why my son is yet alive, have your way, and let this be glorifying your name. I thank you for it in Jesus' name. I want to dispel.
Amen. Amen. We needed that one. We needed that one, man. We needed that one, man. Because they need to get my boy out. They need to get my boy out. They give him all this wreck, all this heck, and I mean he don't need it. He don't need it. They found evidence. Just let my man go. Let my man just record music and leave him alone. Leave him alone. No more stabbings. No more shootings. Just let him live his life in Miami, California, Canada, wherever he like to live, and leave him the fuck alone. Let him boss up and be the top G or the top dog or whatever y'all say. Like, why y'all always have to mess with somebody when they going to the top? Y'all did the same thing to Dolph. He was going to the top, you know, dissing Yo Gotti, things like that, and Yo Gotti wasn't feeling it. Yo Gotti said, nah, you cannot be the king of Memphis and think you gonna come and run this thing. I'm the king of Memphis. People just be hating for no reason. Sometimes you got to take it with a grain of salt. But hey, I thought sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But words are definitely hurting y'all now. Words is definitely hurting y'all because y'all flash out, y'all do things, and not just to say y'all do things. Megan Thee Stallion got a whole restraining order with Tory Lanez in jail. Why they do that? I don't think nobody asking about that. Why they do that? See, that's the thing. See, nobody asking questions no more. They just saying, he's guilty. She's guilty. Let's get to the bottom of it.
A few rumors because I've been asked to by my son, Daystar, aka Tory Lanez. Number one, Daystar does not have a drinking problem. Daystar did not suffer superficial wounds. He was stabbed 14 times. After that, he was being rushed to a facility nearby in a vehicle in which he said, and I quote, "Dad, I thought it was my last." And having made my peace with God, I said, okay, God, is this...
Not gonna lie, man, I would have been sick if they would have killed Tory, man. I would have been like, man, I'm sick. I'm never listening to Megan. I don't know. I don't listen to Megan now. So, yeah, I would have been sick. Rock Nation, all them, whoever signed to Rock Nation, y'all would have not been able to hear me. I still won't listen to y'all because how you gonna try to take my boy out? Allegedly.
Is this how it's supposed to end for me? But God said no. God told him, do not give up. In the car. Upon which he turned to the attending officers and he said, you must get me to wherever is the closest place that I can get to. I'm bleeding out here. He didn't even know his lungs had collapsed. All he knows is that he couldn't breathe. He could hardly speak. Upon which the officer turned around and looked at him and said, nah, we got to take him. He has to be airlifted. And thankfully, to God be the glory.
As you can see, Tory's father is fighting the battle with God. It's clear that God had a say in Tory's survival, as being hit 14 times would take out most men. After this press conference, I believe that Tory should at least get another trial. But considering the courts are owned by Masons, who knows if Tory will ever get the second chance to prove his innocence. Regardless, it's good to see him and his family stand up for the truth. At this point, Tory represents standing up for the truth, and hopefully, he will get a chance to prove he's been telling the truth the entire time. Well, I'm gonna end this one here.
Yes, man. If y'all want to follow my boy, that's the truth is. He's been doing this for a while. He debunks a lot of different things. He talk about Masons. He talk about record labels. He just talk about all different things that if you want to go down a rabbit hole, you'll say, of the dark world. But if y'all think Tory innocent, and he need to become free, go ahead and get on that change.org and set up that petition to get him pardoned. If not, oh well. But let's see us come together and do something about this, or at least do something for the future for black men and black women in the future. Yes, they said that you're supposed to protect the black man and black woman, but y'all not protecting nobody. Y'all just pointed fingers and y'all send the innocent man to jail. Like a lot of people go to jail innocently. So what you gonna do? You gonna barbecue a mildew? What you gonna do? You gonna get my man's out or no? And it's really up to the courts. So, courts, what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna get my boy out or not? If y'all like this content, man, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Keep looking good, feeling good, smelling good. And don't let nobody tell you that you can't do nothing. Yeah.